Hello guys, my name is Yoshi, and welcome back to my bonus episode of my playthrough of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. In the last episode, we continued off with doing some gold challenges in the Chamber Dungeon, and we are about to finish some of those. We are only at Adventure right now, which means we've actually finished most of the other dungeons, so I actually got stuck on one of these, so I've actually kind of changed the way I'm going to do this. Instead of showing the spots the way I normally do, I'm going to show you the solution I used for it, and the room's exact range, and what to do from there, and then I will actually play for the dungeon, which will make this episode a little bit differently, but that's just the way it is. So starting back from nothing but stairs, this one's the most random one. You need very specific staircases to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And, of course, you need the level 2 dungeon. The boss still doesn't matter, which is why I've put Moldworm in there. But beyond that, everything has to be specific. So starting, we have this blue room over here for the right. This room on the left from level 8. This room for level 3. This room from level 1. This room from level 6. This one from level 2. This one from level 5. This one from either level 2 or level 6 or whatever. This one from level 7 or level 2 again. Actually, no, level 5. Level 4 here, or whatever the clock one is. The one with water. This one from either level 1 or level 2. This one from level 1. This one from level 3. This one from either level 5 or level 2. This one from level 6. This one from level 8, probably. This one also from level 8. This one from level 1. This one from level 2. This one from level 5, 6, or 7. Actually, it feels like 7 to me. Level 2. Level 5. And yeah, you have to have these specific staircases set up. Otherwise, the trick will not work. And probably the most important thing I'll show you is there's two ends next to each other in these specific spots, but then in here there's actually a one where I've linked 3 rooms together. There's one set here, one set here, one set here. If you don't do that, the staircases line up in an awkward way, and you have to do something completely different. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to do this craziness, which is basically Staircases the video game. So we're going to be going through all of the staircases today to just go through our stuff, which means we'll be getting all the side rooms today. With that in mind, we should probably put on our big fetch stuff, and we also have to get all the chests as well. The way I kind of did this was, after I got through a specific part, I basically kept on swapping rooms that didn't go into their spot. And eventually I found a combination that worked, and from there I've kind of just gone with that. So anyways, let the madness begin! We're starting with a staircase from level 8, and yes, we are getting all the staircases today. I've never seen a setup more goofier than this. You literally have to use staircases to get stuff going. Yeah, I think I was correct about this one being from level 8. I actually kind of forget where most of them are from. Keep in mind, I can't just go through all these fast. There's some chests in some of them as well. And some of the chests set up in here, yeah, those are required. Again, if you don't set up these rooms exactly correctly, you won't get the staircases to lead where you're supposed to be. I haven't actually checked where these staircases are leading, so yeah. Okay, now we get this one from level 2, I believe. Or level 1. I always forget which one this is. I remember that from level 2 most, probably. Okay, here's our first free room one. This is where we get kind of a little bit of a choice here. Because there's one staircase off to the right and one staircase off to the left. They could lead to basically any spot. We're gonna go with this one first. It is the staircase area from level 2 with the bottles in it. That one I'm pretty fond of, for sure. There's another trio room, and it does have a chest on the top. This one probably will take a little bit of a longer dungeon to complete, simply because of the fact that I can't get through it immediately every single time, so I'll have to make sure I'm taking the right path here in order to get to that. Okay, now we have the staircase area from the Catfish's Maw dungeon. Whichever dungeon has the fitness, I believe it's Catfish's Maw. But I forget. Here's a trick I learned. Did you know that sometimes you can push blocks while carrying a jar? That's one thing I learned. I'm getting tired of doing the same trick every single time. So I'm just gonna kill it that way. Instead of using a pot like I always do. I just prefer using a pot because they are in one hit as opposed to arrows, which take much longer to kill them. That being said, I haven't actually tested out the boomerang on them, so I could always change it to that. Okay, this was the thing that actually is required to get to the side, but we don't know anything. So, time to head up this one next. And it is the 4th staircase in all 8. And yes, because we are doing a lot of stuff, we have to do these staircases the way the game wants us to do, which means we have to do the upward trick to trick the aim into doing that. Keep that one spot open to the right so we can head up there, and then do the trick where we flame the fiend on the way down. And then jump off there to head to the right. Probably one of the most obnoxious ones ever. I believe there is probably a simpler setup. And then from there, it looks like just walking off is easy enough. And then I always do this solution for this one. Not sure if this is the fastest one, but yeah. Okay, that one takes us all the way over to this area, which is kind of interesting. That is not the nightmare key still, so we are still kind of stuck. Probably the biggest hard part with this is, since I've now like done the confusion of the staircases, I'm going to have to figure out where each of these staircases leads, since not knowing that means who knows where we'll end up. That's why I say this dungeon is literally Staircases the video game right now. That's what I'm nicknaming it, because it is very long and takes a long time. Okay, that's an invincible enemy with that. Lots of the stuff only stun them. Wow, so they are pretty brutal, just as I expected. They can only be defeated by arrows. Or the pots. That's why there's so many pots over there, because you can use that to do that. Defeat them. Okay, now we get to do this room backwards, which means, may nearly have to take a damage boost there to get back to the side. And that one leads back to the circular part on the right. We know that can't lead back up, so that is considered our trapped staircase. That means our staircase we need to get to is actually at the bottom. I am preferring to use the boomerang just to be able to use it defeat those lightning guys, because like I said, they're really annoying, and being able to defeat them immediately saves a lot of time. Okay, so now we're gonna just go straight into this. And this is the hookshot room from... It has to be level 6 or higher, because, or level 5. Actually, it probably is in level 5. And here we have our single required key door on the right. Staircase to the right on the right is already linked, so that means this has to lead down south. So, with that in mind, we're going to just go into this staircase on the right. And it's the underwater section in the Catfish's dungeon, sort of, that you're required to get to access the boss. I'm trying to remember where most of these staircases are. My apologies if I get them wrong off the top of my head. Okay. We're gonna rocket right into this one. This one goes back to either level 2 or level 1. Given its simplicity, it's probably level 1. Because it would probably have a lot more stuff if it did that. And we get a forced night puzzle for our second spot. Or at least at one point I thought. Oh wait, this is a chest. Yeah, so it is a forced night puzzle. Get those slots and we get a chest. And I think that anti-fairy might have gotten stuck there. Okay, well I just freed it. Never mind. I thought I was gonna get stuck. But not anymore. Interesting, that one did not lead up but led upright instead. You can see some of these staircases line up kind of weirdly. Okay, now for the hard part. I have to actually find the staircase that leads to this again. Okay, we have to go to this one to get to the end. Just like before, we don't actually have to do the puzzle to get out of this room, so we can just go straight into the right, and I was wondering when that would happen. He jumped at the incorrect time and not too down into the water there. Nothing I could have done there. Just randomness in play. Okay, we have made it to the boss. This is actually a way to boss, so now we can go up here. Again, the boss has to be on the top because that's the way this game was made. So, pretty mazy and linear dungeon in play here. I should probably be using a Vox Pharaoh on this fight a little bit more. That's a pretty good fight, though. I still have not gotten a quick fight in a while. I have gotten it before when I did a speedrun because you could use spins instead of regular stuff. And he doesn't go fast during that mode, so it's a little bit crazy. I find kind of sad, though, that one spin on Hoard still doesn't kill him in one hit. He takes 2, for some reason, all the time. Okay, now the second one is a similar thing from before, except it is not a pattern-filled dungeon, which makes it a little bit interesting. This one, I'll kind of just show you what I've done. There's this key chest over here, then there's this room, and this room, and this room. This room, this one, This one. This room. 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 And then this room. And then that room. The big idea, obviously, is the area is blocked by this barrier. So I had to do a staircase here, which I've put in the side right here. While the actual entrance was thrown off to the side, just to make it a little bit easier. And obviously I can't really put any chest here, because if I did, it'd take way too long. So that's the idea of it. I don't actually have to check many of the rooms I put, but I may as well check them just if anybody wants to copy my room, you can go ahead and pause at certain parts to do that. If you want to check it, like even just check the way the rooms are laid out, you can usually make something work from there. Okay, with that done now, we're going to go for the treasure hoard. Probably the quickest dungeon on this lineup, because get ready, because some of the other dungeons I've created, we're going to be in for the long haul, and a couple of them have forced boss fights. But first, we're going to start off with our first staircases ace, which is right off to the right. And this is the flump one again. I actually forget which area ace each of these lead to, because I'm not too familiar with this one. Oh, and we are already forced with a forced staircase. I mean, forced puzzle room. We have to clear a puzzle in order to advance on. Thankfully, this puzzle doesn't have any real tricks. It's as simple as just moving to the very specific side and any to the right. And then we have this room to go through. Again, we have to get all the chests to spawn the Nightmare Key, which means we'll have to do the entirety of the treasure hoard part of the dungeon to actually get it. So yeah. I've made this slightly obnoxious as well. As you can see, there are a lot of ones that aren't connected, because if I were to connect some of them, it would have been too difficult. So I kind of made a linear path here, which is going to make it take a little bit longer, but hey, it could be worse there. You could have a dungeon where you literally have nothing but stairs. Get it? Because I don't have any keys set up for this, it is literally going to be an actual treasure hoard, meaning there's going to be rupees non-stop. However, how many I get is going to be random. I initially was probably going to think of it, now that I think of it, maybe I could have made the dungeons a little bit more tough by adding in effects to all of them. But I've decided not to do that because I feel like you probably want to just show off those effects in your own regard. Jumping up in the air here just to make sure I don't should get a thing to fall down. Because that is a thing that is a problem we have to deal with. By the way, that thing that was trying to pull you in, well, act as a Y master effect. I learned that one time. It's kind of stupid. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Pretty easy chest room puzzle to solve. The one with 9 ones is probably a lot harder to solve than the 9's core switches like that. You can even reset if you mess it up badly. I'm gonna do some bomb arrow strats for these guys again. I've gotten so tired of dealing with these stupid Riz robes that I've literally just been focusing on only using bomb arrows on them and nothing else. Oh, jeez. Could I just open the chest, please? That would be nice right about now. Oh, yes, and I did put a puzzle room in here. Because I feel like we haven't done enough of these. Throw the bolts into the holes to get your chest. I'm going to show you a chest and then actually leave it for later. So I could maybe pick it up later. Since this is chamber rush. Normally I would not do that if I was just going through the dungeon, regular versions of the dungeons. Like the actual in-game dungeons. And yes, I will not be showing off the ending a second time in case you're wondering. This is just bonus content. There's a completely separate video for that if you want to see that. Anyways, getting lots of rupees, so Hoard kind of proving its worth, that's for sure. I do have a small mini staircase that I can potentially take to skip a couple rooms. I think I will actually take it just to see what it ends up being. Though it's probably slower in actual game time to do it, unless it's required, in which then you have to do it no matter what. Not necessarily getting all the big runs. Sometimes you get a single rupee, sometimes you get other stuff, sometimes you get 50. It's completely random what you actually get. I've also had a really big habit of putting this puzzle into a lot of rooms. Could I just please do that and then block that full shot so I can reflect it back at him? And yes, all the challenges are done. There's a surprisingly little amount of swordless challenges in this game. Okay, alright, I have the nightmare key. I should be warping back. I'm still going to be warping back in a lot of the dungeons, because without this, it becomes really long to get back to some of the entrances of those dungeons. Alright. Hope you like seeing a lot of Moldworm, because I put a lot of Moldworm in the fights. Much better than the last time, that's for sure. Again, for me, Moldworm's just the easiest boss in terms of time and easiness. And yes, you get 300 rupees for every time you complete one of those dungeons. Okay, now I'm going to show you a very interesting one that has a very noticeable reference. So, if you look, this is actually the same reference. This is literally the exact dungeon layout as the layout for Legend of Zelda's Level 9 dungeon. Yes, that means this is the original area where you fought Ganon. Unfortunately, not a lot of the chests can be skipped, and a lot of the areas also have forced fights in them. So, this is where I mentioned that things are going to take a long time. So I'll be going through this one a little bit quicker, but as you can see, there are multiple mini-fights. I throw in multiple boss fights throughout it as well to make it interesting. And Dompe's also added a lot of mini-bosses as well, a lot of regular bosses, blocking off ourselves from going into anywhere. So, we're gonna have a lot of forced boss fights to do, no matter where we go. So I went for that one a little bit quicker, because this one's gonna definitely take about 10 minutes to complete. But we'll try and speedrun the best we can. And, of course, to make it feel like it's as annoying as the original game, it's literally just as annoying as level 9 is. I even made you start in sort of a vanilla location, which in this case is in the bottom right. Of course, similar to level 9, I thought I would add pretty much every pattern that you had from the beginning. So we have a little bit of puzzles, we have a little bit of films, we have a little bit of everything, and a lot of mini boss battles. For fun, I'll probably just go wherever, so we'll probably run into a lot of bosses, but it's fine. We have to get all the chests to finish this dungeon, so obviously we have to do some other stuff. I've actually separated this into 2 areas to make it look similar to level 9, so there's actually a couple of staircase requirements that allow you to move further into the dungeon that you can't get to otherwise. But in terms of rootiness, it's kind of pretty stuck here. I can't really change much of the other stuff, and most of the other things are in a linear battle anyway, so I'm kind of just doing this based off of strength alone and kind of just figure out what to do after that. So yeah, that's the idea of it. And yes, I've also thrown in key doors. Level 9 is tends to require a lot of keys, so I thought I would put that in as well. Though, again, that was gonna come anyways, naturally. So we're gonna start with a lot of keys and then probably get to some other stuff later. What I'm starting with, for me, is this just going to be going down and heading to the thing from the right, and then getting the 2 tests, and then heading back down from the right to maybe do something else, because after I hit this chest, I want to be able to do some stuff. So gonna be doing a little bit of backwards action. By the way, that side room on the right, I did not put anything in, is an optional rupee room. There is one of those rooms in level 9 as well. And yes, there's a lot of unskippable bosses, and here's our first one. Essentially, just like before, like, level 9 has all the refights of all the bosses. Similarly, the one I've created also has a lot of boss refights and lots of regular bosses returning. Some of them are accidental, others are absolutely required. Like this one against Stalfos King. Or King Stalfos. I'm just gonna call him the Stalfos Knight. Because he's very a regular Stalfos, so it makes sense. And he also dies similar to the way he dies in Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. Considering I have some good strain quality fights, here's a required fight, for sure. A High Nox. I've been not gotten grabbed by them in a while. Usually I kill them long before that happens, but I just got a terrible pattern from there, and what can I say? I couldn't have done anything else there. Still gain a lot of keys. Again, for anybody who doesn't know, yes, all of the dungeon areas will always have smokies, and yes, we get another water beetle fight. I'm doing this a little bit more aggressive by jumping and using stuff on the right to hit it rapidly. as my new strategy to him. Like, trying to follow him. Oh, and now a key slime fight. This one I could potentially skip, but I don't want to because it blocks off 4 rooms and it's an easy enough fight. I've not gotten the 1 cycle at all. Very bad pattern for the center slime going in there, but surprisingly quick first phase helped me out quite a bit with that. And yes, I have ordered this into 3 parts. I'm essentially going to go and do the left side of this first, then head back to the right side once I have some keys to go through that, and then we'll do all that. That's the idea. And a lot of these are actually bonus rooms you can add in once you get the chamber stones. So the chamber stones do unlock a lot of rooms, and a lot of them are also extra boss rooms you can fight. Looks like all of these key door areas are required in some shape or form, fortunately, but that's just the way this dungeon's gonna work out. And another key. I have quite a few key lot to door requirements, so there's quite a bit of stuff. Fortunately, not all the bosses will be done here. There are quite a few that you can skip, and I will try and skip. Some of them are absolutely required, though, to finish this dungeon, so yeah. I've also mixed the variety with some of the enemies as well, so we have to deal with this guy again. He can be killed surprisingly fast with the boomerang, so if you ever... Boomerang, definitely recommend using that against him, because that does damage and still stuns him, so you can essentially stun lock him if you are using the boomerang, which is really cool. Okay, this one I am going to take a little bit of a risk. I forget if there's any boss fights in other spots. I believe this one is required no matter what. Okay, that is not the last sight room. Okay, we're getting a terrible pattern from these guys. Okay, saved it. I don't like hitting those guys one at a time, because if you can hit them all at the same time, you can get the room done a lot quicker, but the way they move is completely random. So I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. Okay, now I'm going to do a linear progression to the right side, and then I'll actually do the 2 required staircases that I have to go on the right side, because again, there's lots of chests there, and there's also a long path I put to one of those, so I believe some of the bosses in there are required. Some of them are also optional, but okay, I should be going into here. And we have the eel again. Last time I dealt with this guy, he literally hit me with the thing several times. It didn't even allow me to... Usually, this dies like that, which you see there. But the last time, he hit me like 2 or 3 times in a row, and I was getting a little bit annoyed because I could not do anything about it. So we're gonna get these next 2 done to the right, and then the other stuff to the right. Thankfully, not all of these are too hard to defeat. Like, these hot vending bosses are probably the easiest to defeat, followed by the other weaker ones that I forgot about. And there we get this chest over there. Yes, I have set up a couple of helpful staircases to make it similar to level 9, because in level 9 you do have to use quite a few staircases to actually get to where Ganon is, so since that is a requirement, I thought I would hard require it here by sealing off 2 different zones that could be used. One not necessarily be required, but the other being faster. And one of them is required because that entire area is sealed off otherwise. So with that in mind, let's head down our staircase into our first actual hide staircase to get to the second half of this dungeon and begin from there. And yes, it is true to level 9's regards, and that is very long and tedious. I'll take probably quite a few minutes to beat. And here's our first forced boss fight. Not too hard, just another one of those mini bosses. No, pretty easy fight. Given our health, it's pretty easy to get through. Okay, I do actually want to kill this guy without the use of my items. So yeah, you could just kill the shy guys with that instead of having to turn your back around to them in order to do a spin slash. And I believe that might be faster than doing that other strategy. And yes, another one of these guys. Did I forget to mention there's 2 of them that we had to fight, no matter what? Pretty slow fight, though. We weren't able to hit them multiple times. Oh, yeah, and yes, I did put a puzzle room in here as well. I do try to avoid those rooms with long puzzles from level 8, because those took quite a while to reveal the chest for. Yeah. This one does have a chest up to the side, so we will have to do whatever this boss is on the side. As a force required, what is it? Oh, yeah. Gomas. Goma. That's Goma, that's for sure. Thankfully, I do have a quick kill strategy for them. I can very quickly kill one to the side and use damage boosts to wait on the other. Beyond that is completely random what you actually can do. You basically have to wait until they do an attack, and it's random whether or not they use it, so yeah. That's the only reason why I hate this fight. It's RNG because you can't dodge them until you open their eyes. And similar to our fights, you have to wait for them to open your eyes. And yes, we have to do this as well. This is our fight I try to avoid as much as I can because it's really slow. Okay, that's getting screwy. I hate when they turn the absolute wrong way. I keep predicting that they will go one way and then they end up turning another way instead. Okay. Brought it back a little bit with the second fight, finally. Finally getting them done. But definitely one of the slowest mini boss fights in the existence of this game. That's for sure. And there are 2 other fights I put in there as well. We're not going to do either of them. Well, except for one that is required. And yes, since level 9 is essentially a boss rush in the original game, I thought to stay true to it, I would have extra bosses located throughout this one. Hope that Stealthos actually died. Thank you. Okay. Continuing on. Initially, I thought this was gonna be really quick. Feels like it actually might be an average video if I don't get going really quick. Okay, there's a piece of power. I am gonna go ahead and pick that up because piece of power really does help for the boss fights, as it doubles all the damage that you deal during them. Which we're not actually going into a boss fight, so it'll be useless unless we head to the right. Oh my, Link is kind of stuck in the stairs for a second there, but he got pushed out. Very quiet music there. Okay, it was kind of useful for this room, but we already killed the enemies and won it, so that would have only been useful for the bosses. It's the annoying rooms to get through. Really quick ones. Yes, I couldn't just throw all bosses in all the rooms. And yes, this is a forced required slime eel fight if you go this route. Going the other route for me is slower. So that means we get to deal with RNG Nightmare for the third time in this playthrough. Might at least be a one cycle. Yep, one cycle. Took a while for him to appear, but got him in one cycle at least. And in case you're wondering what the extra room you fight, I have time, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. It was nothing, it's just another one of these guys. I actually thought there was an eagle somewhere, but I misplaced this. Oh, this is kind of weird. And yes, the bell bounces randomly, so as you can see. And that slime eel fight is forced. Because, unless you want to go out to a solar room, you have to go for the right. It was actually the one on the right that was acquired. My bad for not knowing that. Oh, regardless, we have to go into this one on the right. Okay. So the only fight you're missing is the eagle, but we're going to see the eagle anyways, because that is what I decided to make the final boss. For the last boss, I decided to make it as close to God as possible. Since Phantom Ganon is not a playable character, I could not put the nightmares in as a fight, so that is why I decided to do that. And also, we're going up to this area now, because this will be the last chest that we're hitting, so it will have our nightmare key, and that'll allow us to go to the boss fight, which in this case will be the eagle, I think. At least I remember picking the eagle. I picked whatever fight looked the most fiercest, and sure enough it is the eagle. That means we have to go for this long track just to reach him. We are also trapped out of going outside, and then once we get up here, we trigger it. So we get to see this epic craziness of a fight. Again, you have to use your mirror shield to block a lot of these attacks. Bad pattern to start off with, not giving us a lot of dives. He can either do a specific like this or a dive. We want to see as many dives as we can, and right now we're not getting a lot of them. There's a dive, finally. That also works, but we weren't getting enough of it. There we go. Eagle's down. That leaves us with one more dungeon to clear. And then we'll have all the jumping challenges done. I don't think he even says anything else other than a couple of other stuff. Okay. Okay, now I'll go ahead and show you the last one, which is the Supreme Shaped Zigzag Basement, which I've made it to essentially a linear madness mixed with 4 staircase requirements, including one that goes straight to the boss, but it won't actually do anything because we have to head to the right anyways. So I thought I would put 2 staircase required rooms in just to make it crazy. I believe I needed a couple of chests in, but other than that, nothing too really different here. I have put a couple chests on the edge to make it a little bit easy, and beyond that, I'll show you what I've gone through. Some little rooms starting in here. Then we have a High Nox battle that is forced. A skull fight that is not technically forced. I will skip it, I guess. Actually, wait, no, it is a linear path. So yeah, the Stealthful Knight fight, that Stealthful fight is forced. A smart thing I have been trying to do with these later dungeons, just to make them more challenging, is put forced boss fights in the way of where we have to go. So see here, we will have to fight Eagle again. So I did tell you that we were gonna fight Eagle again. And a couple of our mini bosses thrown in for good measure, with an Eagle at the end. Actually, now I think of it, oh wait, no, this is forced. Right, so this was already there from the very beginning. I actually completely did not check that part, that Junpei already put in an Eagle there. Dumpy sure does like doing his other stuff. So essentially, this is a linear path mess. Other than a couple of staircases, there's not really much this dungeon has going for it. I put chests in a specific spot, so no matter what we do, we're gonna have to go through basically all the areas of this dungeon to complete it. And of course I made the fight a linear mess, because if I didn't, it'd be silly. So let's just go for all the rooms and clear them all, and you'll get to see every single room in this dungeon, because I made all of them required. Beyond that, we're just gonna do a speed run and see what works. Nice use of the sword beams to kill that guy on the back. I haven't really been using the sword beams the best. It's because they either lose them too early or don't get them early enough. First lava bubble room here. I don't really determine which staircases go where, so the fact that I keep getting this one is annoying. That's probably my least favorite staircase to do in the entire game. Okay, well that gets rid of that. Those guys remind me of an enemy I'm too annoyed and familiar with. In case you're wondering, it's the bombing enemy outside of the dungeons in the overworld. In both this game and Zelda Link to the Past. And did I forget to mention, in Link to the Past, they deal almost 3 or more hearts of damage? And you're expected to go for that with Greenmill? Yeah, that's right. That's a lot of damage very quickly. And that's like about 4 hearts with that. So yeah, you can see why if you take multiple hits from those guys, you die. That's exactly what that enemy that I saw there reminded me of. That. Because, yeah, why not? Also, here's our first forced boss fight against a Hinox. Pretty easy, though. In Link to the Past, it's based off of the Hinox enemy found in the overworld that will pick up bombs and throw them at them. That enemy's a lot more annoying in that game, but in this game, comparatively easy. Only takes 2 hits with maximum stuff, and even as a boss isn't really that bad. Added effect that can pick you up, though, makes it a little bit annoying. And here's our forced Stealthals fight. A little bit too early there. Oh well, we get to see the trick kill again. Which I missed because I bomb was pathetic. I mean, my hit attempts there was pathetic. Still okay fight, I guess. There's the staircase I could take to skip to the end, but that would skip a little bit too much stuff. Also, we're gonna use bomb barrels to bust this open in a minute. Though I have to line up the shot here. There. Open up that door. My problem is I keep on forgetting where to go in this spot. As you can see, having to check up this spot multiple times. Also, all the keys. This area has all the keys, apparently. And yes, I did put in some mixed switch rooms as well, so we will get to see some switch hitting as well. This one, thankfully, it's not required. I didn't even press the button. I did definitely press the button there, and it didn't register inputs twice there. That was terrible. I should have jumped at least twice there. Clearly. Clearly I'm not mashing hard enough. Fortunately, I feel like that is a little bit quicker than doing the other stuff. In the regular dungeon, I kill it with a pop because I usually don't have many arrows to kill it with. So, that's why I do that. And here's our required staircase number 2. Which is this long one with a required dash jump. As well as another dash jump. Well, there's actually a lower path I could take. Skipping that is in my best interest right now. I like the way I do this, where I'm just one quick hit to the right, and then 2 really quick hits at Rabbit's Secession to very quickly flip to Boo to instantly get the chest there. It's really cool. Oh. That was a really tight corner jump there. That's one of the tricks you can do in this game, by the way. By angling your stuff right, you can make jumps that the game does not expect you to make, and that corner jump is one of them. I don't actually need to do this room, so we're just gonna go straight into here. Skip the semi-required mini-fight and go into the forced boss fight instead. Which will require this. So anyways, yep, we get into another fight with the eagle. Now we get to see how to actually exit the eagle, because that is the thing that we didn't get. That's the fight we skipped, and good start for now, but could be bad. This wind attack is the worst one of all of them. You don't want to see any of those. But he usually does it quite a bit of times. Much quicker fight this time. And so, for getting back to the side, we just have to climb down all the way to the left. Then head back down to the right, and we'll see that all the rooms are opened up. And we don't have sword beams, so we'll have to use bow and arrows to take them out. And then, as soon as we could actually jump properly, go over there to hit that one slime. I think actually doing it from the right is probably faster, but I always do it that way just because that's what I'm used to doing. This is not a required room. Nor is this either. I mean in having to defeat all the enemies. Here's a Force Tynox fight. It's either that or go that to the side. And yes, I put the staircase in kind of an awkward position, so if you want to actually use it, you have to go through the entire back portion of the area to do that. So, one way or another, you're probably going to end up taking these anyway. So it's like, although these aren't required, it's not the best. Nice quick kill in that room. Just knocking the guy into the pit there and not having to kill that Wizrobe. Saves a lot of time here. Have to get this jerk out of the way first, though. And because of it, I accidentally put a bomb down instead. Because of it, I just missed. Okay. Would have helped if I could just get the bomb arrows down the first time. We'll go ahead and hit that for fun. Don't really need to hit it. I just thought it'd be cool to hit it. Okay, here we go. Into this fight again. Okay, much better than the last time. Let's try and get back my sword beams and see if I could use them for anything. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. Oh, I missed one just! Oof. Oof. That hasn't happened in a while. Usually with the linear stuff, you naturally think, oh, you have to get all the chests so you won't miss one. Oh, I just missed one, so we have to go back through all this madness again just to get back to it. Which is a required slime room, in this case. Well, that's cool, I guess, because I could just delay that piece of power grab, and if I'm fast enough, I can use it on the boss if I don't fail badly, that is, actually bringing it over. So let's do this and set up like this. And there's our piece of power, and now we're gonna try and take it to the boss. In the original game, you can do that as well, but is really difficult regardless of which version you play. This long way makes it really hard. I probably won't even get to keep much of it for the boss at all. Okay, got a few hits early, but other than that, mostly useless. Good pattern to start, but I wasn't able to capitalize on it because it takes a while to get up here. Quite a bit of charges. Okay, good pattern nonetheless, though. So, very quick fight. And we're done with all the gold down paid challenges at that point. You've toughed it out for every challenge I could come up with. I don't know what else to say. I've hit bedrock when it comes to ideas for challenge. It's time I let you have it with whatever you can think of. Oh! So he does have extra text after all. So that confirms that we've done every single challenge in this game. So we'll go ahead and show off all that just to make sure that we have it done. In case of 100%, you only need to do the first 3 levels of challenges. Those are the only ones that are required because this one will give you a heart container while these 2 give you each a piece of heart and a bottle each respectively. So they're pretty good to do early on in the game. And while it's not recommended to do the final one until later in hero mode, doing the first level in hero mode is probably important since you get a bottle from it, which allows you to an extra fairy. So if I ever do this game on hero mode, it'll be different. And yes, in the open spots you can put whatever you want, but we're not interested in that. And amiibos, I'll just leave up to you to do stuff. But anyways, we're gonna throw in some little bit of an overall theme just so that the videos don't get too boring and repetitive. If it'll even load, that is. Did a lawn load because it hasn't loaded the area yet. I get it. With that in mind though, we're gonna save our progress here, and that's going to be it. So that confirms that we have truly 100%ed the game of Link's Awakening, also finishing all of the golden challenges. So with that, we are done with our bonus episodes. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we are going to be playing a truly new game because I thought it'd be cool to do that because, yeah, it'll be a new blind playthrough, that's for sure. But until then, leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.